Today I want to focus on the mobs coming to the 1.19 Wild update. I think by now you guys have a pretty good understanding of the ALLAY, the frogs, as well as the Warden. But in my opinion, these mobs could easily be some of the best mobs in Minecraft if Mojang were to add some of the features and feedback we've been discussing as a community these past several months. Now, that's not to say these mobs are bad or boring. If anything, they're already an upgrade compared to the glow squid and, yes, the goat as well. But I want to talk more specifically about small features and upgrades that Mojang can implement to make these mobs the best mobs ever. So as always, I really encourage you guys to share your ideas down below. You never know who clicks on the video, you never know who's watching, as well as click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Join the stealth army. I make weird fun videos like this all the time, and I'd love to see you around here. So with that said, you know the routine, you know the drill. Let's get straight into the video. Starting with the Warden, the biggest and baddest of them all. And not only that, this is a mob we've been discussing and just speculating about the past 2 years. So it's had a lot of time to sort of settle in, a lot of time for us to think of cool ideas and features that we would like to see when it comes to the Warden. And overall, I would have to say Mojang's doing a wonderful job with the Warden. It's scary, it's intimidating, it has really sick animations. That crawling out of the ground animation is just so menacing. So they are taking the Warden in the right direction. But what else could we see out of the Warden? What else could they add to make the Warden the top best mob of all time? That is also equally as powerful as the Wither, if not even more powerful than the Wither. And I think right now a lot of people are trying to figure out what changes that they can make to the Warden. Specifically, the developers are trying to figure out how to make the Warden strong and make the Warden something that people can't easily cheese. It seems to be a mob that a lot of people want to defeat, even though Mojang has said several times before, the intention is not to fight the Warden. It is a mob, a creature that is there to sort of make sure there's no trespassers in its domain. It's a mob that is supposed to intimidate anybody that is brave enough to enter the deep, dark, or ancient cities. So, in my opinion, the Warden is already physically powerful. It's already strong enough in terms of the amount of damage it can deal just by swinging its arms. It can easily one-shot, two-shot, and three-shot pretty much all players, regardless of the equipment and armor. But they shouldn't stop there. I feel like they should add even more movesets to make it more unpredictable when the Warden is patrolling. Now, that's not to say it should start jumping around the ancient cities like Spider-Man and flying around, but maybe it has like a shockwave attack where it can slam its arms on the ground, similar to the Hulk, and it creates like this shockwave that doesn't necessarily damage players, but it can push them back. Or it can scream, like when it bends its arms all the way back, maybe it does like this scream animation, or it can shout at you, and it can hit you from a distance that doesn't necessarily hurt you, like I said earlier, or maybe can do a little bit of damage, but it's not going to kill you, and it's not going to deal as much damage as if it were to physically hit you. But I like the idea of giving it a ranged ability because it would make it a lot more challenging for seasoned players, for veteran players, for people that are just very familiar with taking out mobs very quickly. But as of right now, the Warden is stronger than it used to be. I mean, lava doesn't really hurt it at all. Water doesn't affect it as well. So it's a lot stronger than it used to be. But I think if they want to prevent people from fighting or cheesing the Warden, adding a ranged ability will definitely prevent a lot of those situations. Now, I know a lot of people are also going to say, well, Stealth, if you're talking about buffing the Warden, making the Warden stronger, what are we getting out of this? What's the incentive? And I think Mojang is working on that actively. They're trying to figure out really awesome rewards and loot items, treasure items for the ancient cities, because the Warden's not going to drop anything. They don't want to encourage people to kill the Warden. But another idea is to maybe have the Warden shed its scales or shed Possibly its horns. Now, maybe if the Warden is actively searching for players for a couple minutes and it gets more upset, it gets angrier over time, and the longer it's out searching for you, the more scales it will shed or the more horns it will shed, and you can use those items to craft new armor pieces, possibly new weapons, or something that can help you in, different environments. I think that's a really awesome way to reward players that aren't actually trying to kill it, but at the same time are definitely risking a lot being there. But let's go ahead and move on to the ALLAY, which in my opinion, this mob needs a lot of love. Now, as I mentioned earlier, that's not me saying that the ALLAY is bad, but how often do we get really cool fantasy mobs like this? So this is the best opportunity to listen to community feedback. And I think the first one is very obvious, but I should still mention it regardless, which is to add more colors for the ALLAY. Yellow, purple, green, orange. There's so many wonderful colors out there, and especially a game like Minecraft that really likes the player to feel like they have control over everything in the game. I think being able to customize your ALLAY would just make this mob 10 times better than it already is. And, I've already mentioned this as well, but I feel like they should start adding more mobs you can actually tame. This has been a problem for quite some time. I don't know why. Like, we can have mobs follow us, but there's always something we have to hold or something that they have to hold in order for us to be able to truly interact with them and take full advantage of certain features. When in reality, it's probably just preventing people from playing around with a cool new mob. Why not just make it tameable? I don't think it's that controversial. I don't think it would break anything. I mean, they laid down the groundwork when they first added the wolf mob, and that was, 10 years ago? It was a long time ago. And that's not saying that Mojang hasn't added anything interesting. Like, they've added a lot of cool mobs, like the axolotl, we got the bees, and a lot of other interesting mobs, but none of them are, in my opinion, truly tameable. And it's just sad because this game has a lot of amazing mobs, but they're always something preventing us from truly interacting with it the way we are accustomed to in other games. So yeah, make the ALLAY tameable, make the frogs tameable. Just give us something that will follow us without us having to hold something. But moving back to the ALLAY, there's so many awesome ideas out there, and I have covered this in a separate video before. If you guys want to see me talk more specifically about ALLAY features and things that are possibly on Reddit, as well as feedback, but I would like if the ALLAY maybe vanished or disappeared if a Vex was around, or maybe it just changed colors, like it got a little scared or a little angry, and you could see that through the colors of the ALLAY. Or maybe it did something for the player where it gave you a little boost. I think that'd just be cool, like a little mining boost or a speed boost when the ALLAY is happy. For example, if you're playing different music, like you got a music disc, your favorite music disc, and you start playing it for the ALLAY, it will give you a different type of boost or effect depending on which music disc you play. And, the abilities and powers will change and range depending on what it's listening to. Like, maybe it's an ability that extends the durability of your weapons. Maybe it allows you to get more items while you're farming. Maybe it allows you to get better trades when you're trading with villagers. There's so many cool ideas out there that they can tie in with the ALLAY. But lastly, I do want to focus on the frogs. And there's a lot of great ideas out there for the frogs. There's some things we're just not going to see anymore, like the frogs will no longer eat fireflies. So yeah, they announced that quite some time ago. But I think it'd be really fun if they added villager frogs, and these frogs would probably be in different colors. Maybe we had purple or yellow. And they can also add cave frogs, and cave frogs are poisonous, so trying to get to one would be very difficult and challenging, and they also eat cave spiders. So a nice incentive to sort of try and get one. They're going to be super rare, but they're also going to be able to help you in the mine shafts. Another fun idea is if the frogs are able to fish for you. Go and start to look for treasure items in the water for you, or maybe even garbage items. You never know. It could be an enchanted book, it could be string or bones or rotten flesh, or it could be a new item that Mojang hasn't announced yet. There's a lot of crazy and fun ideas out there. I think overall, Mojang is doing a great job with the Warden as well as the frogs. I want to see so much more from the ALLAY, but share your ideas down below. I want to say thank you guys again for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video. So take care. Peace.